Good morning and welcome to Unity of Mesa Online. Hey, today's Father's Day, so happy Father's Day. We're going to put our series to the side today, a series of Lessons of the Turtle, Living Right Side Up, so we can celebrate fathers and those who are father figures in the lives of our children, in our spiritual community, in our greater community, and in the world. You know, we're made in the image and likeness of God, and therefore we have that divine pattern that dwells within us, and men have the opportunity to outpicture the divine art of fatherhood, which provides structure and security and self-confidence with their presence and their love snugglies to the children in their care. And so as we celebrate dads, we just recognize the presence in our lives and in our communities. I'm Reverend Kellogg, and along with Kandi Lewis, who'll be doing meditation, Candi and Andrew Seiferth, who will be doing music. We are joined by three women from our spiritual community who are going to share stories of their dads and the spiritual gifts that their fathers impressed upon them. And I'll introduce them later, but let's now open with prayer. I invite you to gently close your eyes and to take that breath. And with each breath, allow your hearts to open wide as we again acknowledge what's going on in our world this day. We acknowledge that there is unrest and challenges of our current times, but we open up to the divine presence of unconditional love and infinite wisdom to guide us through our thoughts and our words and our actions, that we might be a source of healing and energizing light to uplift and restore the dignity and preciousness of the life of every individual. Made in the image and likeness of God, we affirm the truth that we are all created equal and deserve the opportunities and the respect, as we are the outpicturing of God in this world. We hold all those on our prayer list and all those that are in need of healing in the light and the love of the divine wholeness. We hold all fathers and those who father in the love of Spirit, that they might be guided to be the arms and the voices of a loving Father, Mother God. For all this, we affirm, we know that God is love, we are love, and you are love. And so it is. Amen. Our affirmation for today is, I give thanks for all expressions of fatherly love. Let's speak that together. I give thanks for all expressions of fatherly love. And let's start with a song. Here's Katie and Andrew.
Happy Father's Day. What a wonderful time to celebrate all that fathers represent and mean to us. Especially during these trying times, it's important that we take a moment and celebrate the good things. And as I reflect on fathers and what they represent, I think of kindness, compassion, strength, and a sense of security. And it reminds me of our connection to Spirit, especially right now during these trying times, just that inner strength and guidance. And when I think about all that, it makes me want to sing. So I invite you to sing along on Daniel Nemed's song, God Makes Me Want to Sing. And maybe get your body moving and just have some fun and celebrate this morning. Treasures in store, that's why I'm loving every living thing.
Thank you for the music. Now, here are some things for you to know. Our fellowship continues. Our virtual fellowship has been a wonderful way to connect with each other and check in. And so if you would like to meet virtually after this service, go to our website at unityofmesa.org, and it will tell you to register, and you'll be sent a Zoom link to come and join us in the garden. If you have someone you would like to add to our prayer list, go to our Unity Cares page under the Ministries tab for prayer request forms. And there's more information for direct one-on-one prayer support. Our Shanghai meditation group continues on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. If you'd like to be a part of that, go to our website again under classes and register for that. You'll be sent a Zoom link. Our reopening/regathering task team has been meeting the past couple of Wednesdays and have prepared a survey for you to take so we get a sense of what you're looking at in returning to our church. Please watch for this Wednesday's email letter that will give you instructions on how to access that survey. Thank you. Spirit groups. This Thursday, registration opens on our website for our summer spirit group sessions. We'll listen to Reverend Kevin Ross as he shares from his book, The Designer Life, by exploring practical tools for creating a life by design. Groups will begin meeting the week of July 12th virtually, and there's one group meeting on site in the annex. If you're interested in facilitating a group, please email Nancy at unityofmesa.org. And if you've been enjoying the exploits of Turtle in the Tale these last 2 Sundays and would like to follow along with your own book, there's more goodies in them. Amazon now has the updated version. If you order from our website's bookstore page, we will receive a percentage. And now it's time for our offering, but let me start with a financial update on how we're doing. This is since our church campus closed in probably the 3rd week of March 22nd. I just wanted to let you know we've been blessed by the technology that keeps us connected through the internet, email, phone calls. We've been able to connect with all of you through services and classes and just checking in one-on-one. We've also been blessed by the Payroll Protection Program, or PPP, with a loan of $44,500 that has helped cover our payroll and utilities. And with the extension passed by Congress lately, our loan may be forgiven and turned into a grant. Without the PPP, however, our financial picture would be more challenging. Our weekly giving is down approximately $1,800 per week. In order to build our reserves for when we return to on-site services, we are looking into decreasing some of our operations expenses. And for the months of July and August, some of our employees will experience a cut in hours, therefore cut in pay. And the ministers also will be taking a pay cut. At the end of August, we will revisit and adjust accordingly depending on our financial outlook at that time. Please, I want you to know that our capital campaign is right on track, and we thank you for that. We were able to pay back the largest loan of $50,000 at the end of May and are set to pay back a $20,000 loan on the 1st of July. So if you would like to help us build a financial foundation for our return and are able to give, please consider making an extra gift to our general fund. That's the fund that supports our daily operations and keeps Unity of Mesa going. This will help us close that weekly shortfall of collections to cover our necessary weekly expenses. Know that we are so grateful for all and any financial gifts that come our way and that you have shared with us in the spiritual community. There are many ways to give. If you go to our website, you can find out more information, but it talks about online giving, our Give Plus app, or by sending a check. And if you're watching on YouTube right now, you can just click the link in the description. So now let us take our offering in our hands. And let us bless that abundance that is ours through our divine beingness by saying, divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, Spirit of abundance. And now let us prepare for meditation with Candi.
And now it's time for meditation. If you'll take a moment to Get comfortable where you're seated and clear anything from your lap, unless it's a dog or a cat sitting there. And take a few deep breaths. And when you're ready, close your eyes and envision a beautiful white light coming down, starting at the crown of your head and slowly moving down your body, relaxing you as it goes, moving down your face, your shoulders, your arms, your chest, down through your lap and down through your legs, relaxing you and putting you in a peaceful state for meditation. And as you relax, say to yourself, I give thanks for all expressions of fatherly love. Your relationship with your father may have been positive and nurturing, or difficult and challenging. He may have been a strong presence during your childhood, or he may have been absent. You may be part of each other's lives today. You may be estranged, or he may have passed from earthly life. Whatever your circumstances, bless your father and see him enfolded in divine love. As I honor my father, I also honor all the father figures who have helped guide me along my path. Family members, teachers, neighbors, clergy, employers, and friends. I bless them as I recall all the ways each one, in a unique way, has modeled strength, guidance, wisdom, and patience. Their presence reminds me with thanks to their gifts of fatherly love. I give thanks for all expressions of fatherly love. And now it's time for silent meditation. And now slowly move your fingers and toes, returning to the room, shifting your body and letting it adjust to being back in your space. And when you're ready, open your eyes, remembering to give thanks for all expressions of fatherly love.
From a place of gratitude, let's sing Father of My Soul by Daniel Nemad. Oh, Father of my soul, thank you for the blessings of the day. Oh, Father of my soul, thank you for the blessings of the day. Oh, Father of my soul, thank you for the blessings of the day. Oh, Father of my soul, thank you for the blessings of the day. For the light and the shadows, for the triumphs and trials, for the moment and mystery, for the sorrow and the smiles, for the peace and the conflict, for the silence and song, for the calm and confusion, for the winter and the warm. Oh, Father of my soul, thank you for the blessings of the day. Oh, Father of my soul, thank you for the blessings of the day. For the light and the shadow, for the triumphs and trials, for the moment and mystery, for the sorrow and the smiles, for the peace and the conflict, for the silence and song, for the calm and confusion, for the winter and the warm, for the light and the shadow, for the triumphs and trials, for the moment and mystery, for the sorrow and the smiles, for the peace and the conflict, for the silence and song, for the calm and confusion, for the winter and the warm. Oh, Father of my soul, thank you for the blessings of the day. Oh, Father of my soul, thank you for the blessings of the day. Oh, Father of my soul, thank you for the blessings on this day. Oh, Father of my soul, thank you for the blessings of the day of today.
We've been talking about living right side up and discovering truth at the heart of life. We often describe God or spirit as Father, Mother, God, that the aspects of spirit are reflected in our human experience through the art of parenting. We know that our parents have made an impact on our development, whether full-on spectrum of spirit or as a single aspect, depending on where they were in their own awakening. As today we celebrate the art of fathering and those who fulfill that role for us, what is the gift of spirit that your father or father figure passed on to you? What was the most important thing, that intangible value that your father outpictured, either consciously or instinctively, that made an impact in your life? Today, we've got 3 women from our congregation sharing the gifts of spirit their dads passed on to them. In order, they are Cindy Richardson, Laurie Matlock, and Kandi Lewis.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Father's Day. My name is Cindy, and Kathy asked me to talk a little bit about my dad. excuse me, my dad taught me many things, and I'm going to try and hit some of the highlights. The first thing my dad taught me was patience. He was a very low-key, laid-back guy. And one of the things he taught me how to do was drive a car. And he insisted that all of us learn how to drive a stick shift before we got our license. And I was nervous about that at first. And I was halfway up the hill one day and stalled the car. And there was a policeman right behind us. And I kind of panicked. And Dad very calmly said, "No worries, put on the emergency brake." And we did a little Chinese fire drill there in the middle of the street. And he got in the car and drove us up the hill and pulled over and said, "All right, let's start again." So just very patient and very kind. He also taught me, he helped me a lot with my math. I was struggling a lot in math in junior high. And he was a mechanical engineer and math came very easily to him. But he was just a very patient and tolerant and kind teacher. He sat with me for hours and explained things to me in a way that I could understand. And he literally got me through math. So I really appreciated him having such a long fuse and not getting upset with me. The other thing he taught me was responsibility. I am the oldest of 6 siblings, and he made it very clear that as the oldest, it was my responsibility to be careful of what I say and do, because there were little ones watching everything I did. And I was to set a good example for them, and that what I did mattered, and there was fallout from the things that I did and the decisions that I made. He expected me to look out for my younger brothers and sisters and to help my mom whenever possible. And I understood that that was the expectation. And I think I did a pretty good job of that, being a responsible person. The other thing he taught me was, you always do your best. And back to the math thing, even if I didn't get a straight A in math, if I did my best and studied and applied myself, then that was good enough for him. So even if it was a B or a C, as long as I tried my best, that was good. And that's what his expectation was of us as well. The other thing that Dad taught me was love of family and how important family is, and staying connected with the family. So again, I was from a very large family, and all of us, my father was born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana. And every 3rd year, we would all pile into the station wagon and have a cooler, and we would drive from West Virginia, which is where I grew up, down to New Orleans to see his parents and his brother and sister for our summer vacation. So, staying in touch with them, and it was the highlight. We loved those trips, and the family trips, we all got along with each other and played games and sang in the car, and it was wonderful. But it was very important to him to stay connected to his family. My mother's family lived on a dairy farm in Ohio, which was about an hour from our home in West Virginia. And again, twice a month, we went out to the farm and had spent time with our grandparents and had big family dinners and, holidays and birthdays and things like that. So we were always together as family. My family had dinner every night together. All 8 of us sat around the table, and unless we were sick, we were expected to be at the table. And that's when everybody shared about their day and stayed connected. And Dad came home at the same time every day. His schedule was the same. He worked for the same company for decades. And he just was a very rock solid, steady presence in our life. His love for us and for family was unwavering. He was always there for us to help, for guidance. And I am just very, very grateful to have had that kind of a father figure in my life. Thank you, and happy Father's Day.
Good morning. My name is Laurie Matlock, and this Father's Day, I'd like to share with you some things about my dad. I love my dad. He's funny, goofy, serious, and humble. My dad has been on a spiritual journey my whole life, and that's the gift that he has given to me, that to choose my own path, to take that spiritual journey. That, and make sure you always check the coffee maker before you leave the house. My dad grew up Catholic. He went to Catholic school, had his knuckles smacked a few times by the nuns, and was married in the Catholic Church. When I was a child, though, he worked Sundays, so we didn't go to church. Well, that's the story we're going to stick with anyway. When I hit middle school, it's obvious now, looking back, that my dad got an itch for something different. A journey for greener pastures and a lot less New England snow landed us in Tennessee. And it was there that my dad decided that we needed to go back to church, that he needed to introduce his daughters to Catholicism. And it was a way to fulfill that promise that he and my mom made to the priest who married them, that they would get their children confirmed. Let me tell you, it is not easy to find a Catholic church in rural Tennessee, but we finally found one. And then when I went off to college, my parents started going to the Presbyterian church. And it was there that we met Reverend Charles, who my dad, hard as he tried, could not stop calling him Father Charles. I think, though, Reverend Charles actually enjoyed that quite a bit, so it was all good. My dad, he's skeptical about everything. So he has to read, to educate, to find an answer to that one question, which will undoubtedly lead to 10 more. And after I moved all across the country, they were in Florida, I was in Oregon, we would speak on the phone and share. We didn't have this awesome technology that we have now, so the phone was it, but he would share with me his thoughts on God, on Jesus and Buddha, on the books that he was reading by John Shelby Spong, Eckhart Tolle, and others, on the churches that he was trying out, and on his philosophy of human kindness and compassion, until he was out of words. And then he would genuinely listen to my journey and what I was going through, what I was discovering with my children and on my own. My dad is a quiet man, but when he speaks, it gives you pause. It makes you think or laugh. He is really very funny. He has that wry sense of humor that my friends were never really sure, is he joking? But he takes in the conversation and he thinks before he speaks, a lesson I still need to learn. My sister, she might argue that no, Dad couldn't hear and he liked it that way. And I will admit that since he has gotten his hearing aid, that is one complaint he's had, that he can hear. Interestingly, throughout all the miles that were between us, how often our spiritual beliefs, our paths would fall into alignment here and there, as we both searched and read and learned and grew and shared. As he puts it, the older I get, the more questions I have, which makes the journey continue. I don't think my dad ever imagined that my sister and I would both be so involved in our churches. But regardless of beliefs or questions and answers, I think what he has taught me the most, both in actions and in words, is just be a good person and to love your neighbor. Well, I'm out of words. So, love you, Dad. Happy Father's Day to you and to all the other fathers out there, and to Father Charles. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. This is Kandi Lewis. When Kathy asked me if I had a father figure in my life, someone who passed on some special spiritual gifts or values, I didn't have to think twice. My dad. Father is too serious a word for him and his energy. If you appreciate my sense of humor, you can thank my dad. If you find my sense of humor annoying, you can blame my dad. If you enjoy my breaking into song at any given cue during conversations, you can thank my dad. If you find it annoying, you can thank my dad. As the saying goes, we were definitely cut from the same cloth, and a high quality cloth at that. Along with that quirky sense of humor, among the many gifts he passed down to my siblings and me were compassion and kindness, a strong value of and appreciation for honesty, a great sense of creativity and imagination, playfulness at any age, a love of music and art, and an awareness that there was something else guiding our lives, even if he hadn't quite identified it himself. Dad knew no strangers. I often think it was his mission to make everyone, from a cashier to a president, smile or laugh, or if they were down, to feel loved. I remember singing in harmony with Dad and my older sister, and when it worked out right, feeling the vibration of magic and joy that singing or working together on something larger than yourself can bring. Mind you, he had his moments, as we humans all do, but if anyone needed a helping hand, he was there. Growing up in Arizona gave him a different, more trusting perspective than many of the New Yorkers he met had. People were often taken by surprise at his kindness. There was a milk shortage at one point, and I remember Dad getting extra cartons of milk and going to neighbors in our Bronx apartment building to make sure they had what they needed. A small gesture to some, but one that remained large in this child's memory. People were to be enjoyed, loved, and treasured, whether they made you mad or happy. I literally learned to sink or swim from Dad. He loved the water and was excellent at swimming and diving. I was petrified of just jumping into the water and never dreamed of diving into the pool. He was very patient with me as I very slowly and painstakingly worked my way from the steps to the deeper end of the pool, until one day he tossed me in from the edge of the pool so I could learn how great it felt to just dive in. A life lesson. I wish I could tell you that I stopped being so hesitant about diving into things, but it did give me a taste of how frightening yet invigorating and exciting it could be to dive into something new. I sometimes forget to talk to or thank God, Spirit, the universe, not only during times of duress, but in those funny, joyful, delightful moments as well. I am reminded of this when I think of jumping waves in the ocean in Florida with my dad holding tight to my hand. At one point, the undertow was so intense that it tumbled me over and under, and I believed I would never grasp another breath, and thought, no doubt, along with my dad, that I was going to be washed out to sea, never to be seen or heard from again. But my father never let go of my hand, never let me vanish or wash completely away. And I ended up deeply shaken, but firmly back on my feet, with his hand still holding tightly to mine. That same hand, along with its mate, held my hands as I stood facing him, with my feet on top of his, so we could dance together. Clumsy, graceful, and fun all at the same time. A true exchange of love. And just as it is with God, I still can't dance worth anything without his feet beneath mine. Thank you, Dad.
And so we give thanks and appreciation for all the expressions of fatherly love. Thank you, Cindy, Laurie, and Candi, for sharing your dads and your stories with us. Now for a musical sharing with Katie and Andrew.
Hi, this is Andrew Seiferth. This song is called Jacket in the Rain, and it is a song from a father to a father that I wrote. Father of mine, you gave me the time to see the world through your eyes, as sometimes you saw mine, and then I'd find with the kids I have it's harder than it looks. Please hear me out, my heart has been without compassion and forgiveness. I'd sometimes have a doubt if you mind, and then I'd find with the kids I have, I've never had a doubt. 'Cause as a father, love could look like all sorts of things. As a father, love could be a wink, a joke, or a game. It could be his jacket in the rain. As we're getting old, there's so much untold. I find vulnerability could lead me to gold, and I find you. And I could look you in the eye today and say, I love you. 'Cause as a father, love could look like all sorts of things. As a father, love could be a wink, a joke, or a game. It could be his jacket in the rain.
And so we give thanks for all the ways that fathers show up in the world. We give thanks and appreciation for all those expressions of fatherly love. Let's say our prayer of protection together. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Blessings.